A dry nose can be one of many symptoms your dog may have, and so it's really important for you to understand why it might happen, what it could mean, and when you need to come see us here at the veterinary clinic. But they otherwise seem perfectly normal, then there's probably nothing to worry about. Now, dogs can get dehydrated just like us humans can. Kidney disease can cause a buildup of toxins in the blood, which can lead to dehydration and a dry nose. Diabetes occurs when the body cannot properly regulate blood sugar levels, which can lead to increased thirst and urination, and ultimately dehydration and a dry nose. In addition to these symptoms, dogs with diabetes may also have increased appetite, weight loss, and lethargy. So it's important to be aware of the signs and symptoms of these conditions and seek veterinary attention when necessary. However, there are other causes of a dry nose that are less serious. Central heating and air conditioning can make the air inside our homes very dry. This can cause our dogs' noses to become dry and cracked, especially during the winter months. Now, it may sound crazy, but some dogs lick their nose so much that they end up making it raw and cracked. If you notice that your dog is licking their nose excessively, it's important to take them to the vet to rule out any medical causes. Just like us humans, dogs need to be groomed regularly to keep their nose clean and free of dirt and debris. A dry nose is usually nothing to worry about. In fact, in most cases, it will resolve by itself within a few hours or days. However, if you notice that your dog's nose is dry and cracked, and they do and seem to be drinking water, or they seem lethargic, or they have no appetite, then it's important to contact your vet. These could be signs of a more serious problem, such as dehydration or kidney disease. And so it's important to get your dog checked out by a vet as soon as possible. If a dog hasn't been groomed recently, this can cause their nose to become dry and cracked. The good news is that this is an easy problem to prevent. Just make sure that you groom your dog regularly, and their nose should stay healthy and moist. There are some medical conditions that can cause excessive licking, such as allergies or skin infections, but in most cases, it's simply a behavioral issue. If it is a behavioral issue, there are a few things that you can do to help stop your dog from licking their nose so much. And if you have any concerns about your dog's health, then please do contact us through the provided details. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. First, try to figure out what's causing the licking. If it's boredom or anxiety, try to provide your dog with more exercise and mental stimulation. You can also try to distract your dog with a toy or treat when you see them starting to lick their nose. Lastly, you can try putting something on your dog's nose to prevent them from licking it. Some people use a cone or a sock, but you also need to make sure that whatever you use is comfortable for your dog and doesn't restrict their breathing. Luckily, there are a few things that you can do to help prevent this. If your dog has been eating something that they shouldn't, such as a rock or a piece of wood, this can cause their stomach to get upset and their nose to become dry. If you notice that your dog has been eating things that they shouldn't, it's important to take them to the vet to make sure that they do and eat something that could be dangerous. First, you can try to increase the humidity in your home by using a humidifier. You can also try to make sure that your dog always has access to fresh water, especially during the winter months. Make sure that the water isn't frozen, of course. Lastly, you can try to avoid keeping your dog in drafts, as this can make their nose even drier. Treatment for diabetes typically involves a combination of diet and exercise, along with insulin injections. As I mentioned earlier, dogs can become dehydrated just like us humans can, and this can cause their nose to become dry and cracked. Luckily, this is usually pretty easy to fix by just giving them lots of fresh water to drink. However, it's important to make sure that your dog always has access to fresh water, especially in hot weather or after exercise. Dogs with kidney disease may also have other symptoms, such as increased thirst and urination, weight loss, and a change in appetite. Treatment for kidney disease varies depending on the underlying cause. Often includes a special diet and medication to control blood pressure and manage the levels of certain chemicals in the body. And this is especially true in hot weather, or if they've even exercising and they haven't had enough water. This can cause their nose to become dry and cracked. This can lead to a variety of symptoms, including increased metabolism, weight loss, increased appetite, and yes, a dry nose. To diagnose hyperthyroidism, a blood test can be performed to measure the levels of thyroid hormones in the blood. Treatment options include antithyroid medication, radioactive iodine therapy, or surgery to remove part of the thyroid gland. Now, this is usually pretty easy to fix by just giving them lots of fresh water to drink. But if you're concerned about your dog, you're worried that they might be dehydrated, please do contact your vet for advice. We can assess your dog, see whether or not they are actually dehydrated, and what the best course of treatment is for them. Sometimes, depending on the severity of their dehydration, they may need to be hospitalized and receive fluids intravenously. But in most cases, just giving them lots of fresh water to drink will do the trick. It's just one of those things that happens from time to time and will resolve by itself. But there are certain things that you should look out for that may indicate that there is something more serious going on. And these include how the rest of your dog looks, whether their gums are dry, and also whether or not there's any other signs, like lethargy, lack of appetite, vomiting, or diarrhea. If you can say, yes, my dog's nose is dry, but they're still eating, drinking, they're still themselves, they still want to play and go for walks, etc., then it's probably nothing to worry about. But if you can't say that, and you notice these other signs, then please do contact your vet to make an appointment. So let us take a look at some of the most common reasons why your dog's nose may be dry. So I think first and foremost, we need to say that if your dog's nose is dry. So let's talk a little bit more about these medical causes. First up is dehydration. Another medical condition that can cause a dry nose is kidney disease. Another medical condition that can cause a dry nose is diabetes. Next up is hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism occurs when the thyroid gland produces too much thyroid hormone. All of these medical conditions can cause a dry nose in dogs. The first one that we're going to talk about is simply that your dog hasn't drunk enough water recently. Next up is that the air in your house is dry. Next up is that your dog has been licking their nose excessively. Next up is that your dog has been eating something that they shouldn't. Finally, let's talk about a dry nose, because your dog hasn't been groomed recently. Now, I know that I've talked about a lot of different potential causes of a dry nose in this video, but don't worry. If you enjoyed this video, then please do hit that subscribe button, and why not share it with a friend?